we're recording this, and it makes the recording a lot nicer and happier for everybody else. Cool. So let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to the May 3rd, our first meeting in May for our Humanity First Movement Sunday call. So basically what we're going to go over today is the format of the meeting. We'll do a quick overview of what this group is for any new folks. Our reports from working groups, our coalition spotlight section, updates from the board, and then we'll have open discussion at the end of the call. Our goal is to keep these calls as short as, not as short as possible, but with under an hour, just to respect everybody's time, since we do know it's a Sunday evening and y'all have family things to be doing. So we try to start 1 minute after the starting time. Recordings will be posted for anybody that shows up a little bit late. Our timekeeper tonight is going to be Nick R. Each working group is going to have 3 to 5 minutes to present. That goes for candidates and your coalition spotlights as well. And then we'll have open comment period at the end. We ask that you keep your comments to 1 minute. At 45 seconds, you'll be given a 15-second wrap-up period from Nick again. So this group, if you are new, what are we? Who are we? We are a network that evolved out of the 2020 Yang campaign. A bunch of different volunteer leaders and regional organizers got together, started this meeting back up to keep people involved and people going. Our goal right now is to harness what was the Yang Gang and convert that into a movement that continues on supporting Humanity Forward movement, period. And Humanity First movement is our title for our group itself. Each Sunday we host one of these calls so that you all can hear what's going on in different groups and get more involved as well. To read more about who we are, there's a Medium post that was done by Lee Kai out of California that kind of lets you know who we are. One thing to note is we have a new volunteer code of conduct. It's not super new. We've had it the last 2 weeks, and it is based off of what we had during the Yang 2020 campaign. Something weird came up. I'm just going to copy our link and post it in the chat if you want to read over that to see what that's all about. Our goal is to maintain a humanity first thought and feeling and everything that we do. The expectations of being part of our group and being on our Slack is that you're going to uphold this code of conduct. So take a peek at it. It just means, like, don't be a jerk, be nice, don't dox people, be a good human, and we're happy to have you work with us. So I'm going to pass it off to Mission and Vision, I believe is the first group that's going to be going.
Hey, this is Kim DeVong. I am part of the Vision and Mission Working Group, and you can join our channel if you'd like to help us work on that. So for about a month, we worked on a vision statement. We probably created 70 or 80 sentences and different versions of statements with several rounds of surveys. So currently we're using this one for our vision. Future where a data-driven government prioritizes intrinsic human value and quality of life. And it's not perfect, and it's kind of, still, I know some people have some concerns about parts of it and want to kind of revisit it and things like that. But we needed to kind of have something so that we could start working on mission. But I think the important theme here is intrinsic human value. And that is something that Humanity Forward Yang's organization is also likely going to have as central in their vision and mission, which is still also something that they're discussing. If you go to the next slide, we have some updates on our mission. We just finished doing our initial survey, which we had a lot of responses for, so thank you guys for doing that. And these are the top answers for why Humanity First movement exists. So there's emphasis on humanity first or humanity forward values and candidates, getting them elected, organizing volunteers, growing Yang Gang 10 times into a powerful new coalition in mainstream politics, and also advancing and developing new policies in alignment with our vision. So these are going to be some focuses for us as we start crafting mission statements, and we hope if you want to help in the writing process, then please join us.
Awesome, thank you so much. I'm gonna refresh our screen while regional organizing is talking, just because we have an update later on. But regional organizing, go ahead.
I suppose I can speak for regional. What happened to my slide?
Sorry, I had to refresh. We had an update, but we're going back. There you go.
Cool. Yeah, so I mean, not too much to update with regional, except to just say two main things. One, we did break up the map for an outreach initiative. What you're looking at there is not the final regions map because, okay. Okay. Catherine telling me that she can talk about the election slide. Yes, I was hoping you would, Catherine. But yeah, so this is the map that we broke out for regions just for initial outreach. So it's not for like finalizing regions. There's still a lot of communication happening with Humanity Forward Foundation and chapters and things like that. The priority is for establishing connection and providing value to local movements. And then setting up meeting dates for all of these regions. Again, not finalized regions, but just for the sake of connection and outreach, reach out to all of these regions and find leaders, at least one state lead, and then like have a meeting within that region. So the Southwest had a meeting on Friday and it went really well. And it was really good to kind of connect these people who didn't know what was going on here to this broader movement and loop them in. So done. Check.
Awesome. Thank you, Eileen. So diversity, inclusion, and outreach.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kiara, and just to update you all on what we've been working on, we are working on Project Connect and Learn. We sort of talked about this here in the meeting last week on Sunday. Some basic elements about this project that we'd like for everyone to keep in mind. We're currently gathering feedback and postmortems on the campaign. We are reaching out to various affinity groups, starting out with members of the Yang Gang or the volunteer base who are connected to those affinity groups. We are currently gathering a list of potential Yang Speaks podcast guests as well from within these communities. And we're hoping to produce a collection of summary presentations that can be listened to. There's an example presentation in this slide that's linked that everyone can check out. And if you're interested in participating, please join our Slack channel. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. On to working group Grow 10X. Who do we have for that today? Anyone for growing the Yang Gang 10X?
I don't see Brendan here.
Okay. Does anybody else that's in the group want to talk? I can read the slide, but I will not do it justice.
I mean, I can talk for it if you want.
Awesome. Go for it, Andrew.
All right. So we decided the first thing is to postpone meetings for a little bit until we get the survey feedback back from regional organizing to make sure that once we start getting the chapter process formulated, then we can then pick from some of the best parts of each group and find what's working best. So that way we can compile all of our best practices from all the former Yang Gangs to write a guide to growth in order to help chapters get set up, Humanity First Movement, Humanity Forward chapters across the country. As it says in the slide, we need a larger critical mass of participation in the working group because the more people we have in it, the more people that can input to our guide for growth and help out. So we did cancel the meeting on May the 7th, but everyone, I strongly encourage you to participate in our Slack channel. We have a lot of good information there. Our next meeting will be on May the 14th in 2 weeks at 5 p.m. EST. So I look forward to seeing all of you there and sharing your growth strategies.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Andrew. All right, onto organization and management.
All right, I'll take this slide too, Miss Brenna. Hi, this is Eileen Patterson again. So those of you who are in the Slack working with us, you may have noticed that we used to be OM C, organization management comms, but we decided to drop comms from this group. It was a little too broad and too ambitious. So comms is now its own working group. So that was a big development. And then within organization management, it's basically become a catch for our subgroups. So we have task bars. Nicholas, are you on the call right now? Because I figured you could give an update on task bars. Or Massey.
I can give an update on that.
Oh, okay, or Catherine.
Yeah, so you might have noticed that there's a new channel that appeared, the All Start Here channel. And with that, what you as regular folks don't realize is that there's also a greet bot that's been set up that when somebody joins the Slack, it welcomes them, it directs them to this new channel, and gives them a little introduction. And then from there, we've started to see that people are immediately adding themselves to group channels that they're interested in. And so the next thing that we're implementing is kind of a standardization across the working groups. So we'll be reaching out to you where you can have like a little pinned post that you maintain that's like, hey, this is what we're working on right now. So that way, when new people show up, you can just point them right to that and be like, hey, welcome, here's what we're doing. And then people feel welcomed, caught up, and it doesn't feel so crazy. So there's a lot of stuff going on there, but that's immediately what's happening.
Okay, thanks, Catherine. That kind of leads into onboarding. If tab is on.
Oh, that's onboarding as well.
Yeah, okay, so I mean, we did do our soft launch of our onboarding, which Catherine alluded to, and there's also like a version 2.0 that's gonna be rolling out. This will be an iterated process. One of the aims of 2.0 are like human touch points. So like this like donut system, which is like this Slack bot thing, and then battle buddies, which is, again, you'll hear more about that, or you can go work with us on it in the channel if you're interested in being a battle buddy or learning more about it. And also like a skills inventory. Another one of our subgroups is decision science. That will go mostly onto the next slide that Catherine will do about the board election process proposal that came out of that group. And then also we created a task force that I'm heading up for drafting organizational policies, which kind of leads into our other subgroup, which is structure. And there are currently 3 org structures that are being pitched and worked on and collaborated together on there. If you're interested in looking at those or learning more about those, you can come to the org subgroup structure meetings. But yeah, more information about the upcoming May 17th election process. I think the next slide, maybe.
There you go.
Okay, so the
One minute.
Is that the board is still the interim board because organization management is still working through all the questions that we all have, which is what is our structure, who are the members, who has standing to vote, all of those things. So hopefully all of that will kind of be finished by the time of the next election, which is June 28th. But in the interim, there are 5 board members whose terms are ending on May 17th. Now, because of the feedback we got from the last time, we've made some changes. So the candidate statements are going to be presented in random order. The voting is going to be open for several days to make it more accessible to people that can't participate in these Sunday meetings. And then also to make sure that, there's no advantage to somebody speaks first, somebody speaks second, that type of thing. But the one thing that we are going to keep in place is that the folks, hey, Brenna, can you undo this, kind of blank this slide? I want to make one change for the recording because we made, we made a change. So the candidates are required to attend, but we're not going to have people speak. And then the candidates will be announced at the beginning of the meeting after we check that the folks are there. So that change was just made. So sorry. Okay, sorry. I made that just for the recording. So if you want to reshare it again.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not. I made the change on the wrong slide. Apologies, everyone, for having too many things open. Let me do that one more time. Voting is, all right, candidates required to attend, and voting closes at beginning of meeting. Okay. All right. Sorry, one more time, refresh it. Apologies, everyone. There was a lot of debating and working right up to the moment.
No need to apologize, Catherine. You're a rock star. Thank you for all you do.
Well, all right. We're getting a lot of stuff done. Yes, so if you reshare, it should be cleaned up and corrected.
All right, sorry, hold please, and we will be back. There we go.
All right, thank you. Apologies. Okay. So another thing that we added was a nomination process, because we would like a wider set of people to apply. Last time we had 18 folks who applied. And so if you know anyone that you think would be a good candidate for the board, you know, we have a form for you to nominate them. You can skip that if you like, and you can just send them, you know, the people that you know that you think would be good on the board. You can just send them the board candidacy link form, and there's no need to have a nomination. People can submit themselves as candidates. They don't have to wait for a nomination. But the nomination process just helps us to have a wider kind of cast of characters. Sometimes people are really super hard workers, but they don't think of themselves as belonging on the board, or, you know, the person that's kind of speaking on behalf of, you know, all the folks all around the country with Humanity Forward. So we would like to get some of those people who aren't going to push themselves forward, but that you think who would be really great there as well. So you see all the deadlines. Because we would like people from the Twitter Yang Gang and Reddit Yang Gang to be able to vote, there's going to be a voting pre-registration where we're going to release that next week in the meeting on Sunday. And then, you know, people have till the Wednesday afterwards to kind of get a code so that they can vote. And then the voting will open on Thursday. So again, we're making all of these changes in order to open this up to a wider pool of people, so they can have that 11-member body that is speaking with Humanity Forward and Andrew Yang on behalf of all of us, have that be more representative of the broader body all across the country. All right, so that's a lot of talking. There's a lot of information on that slide, and I hope you'll share it in your Facebook groups and your Slacks, but I'll stop talking at this point.
Thank you so much, Catherine. And I think that about wraps it up for organizational management.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. So that was a lot of information to digest. Please revisit this slide to learn more about the ins and outs of our next election, but our next election is going to be on May 17th. That's 2 weeks from today.
Was there, could you show the previous slide just for a second? Okay. Oh, that was a different, thank you.
Yeah, of course. So working group communications.
Brendan.
Hey, everyone. So we had our first meeting on Saturday. That's 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. So we're hoping for some more participation. But basically, we just decided on the scope of the communications working group. We're going to have an internal side that's about curating content, getting the calendar maintained, the website, and also an external side. It's going to be more for social media, emails, moderation, forums, press releases. So just keeping it simple. We're still getting a feel for what all is out there that we need to be involved in. You know, what social media groups there are, what you know, what is really required to run a tight operation with communications. You know, it's a longer conversation that's going to take a little while to figure out what exactly we need to do. I will say that we are intending to select official affiliates of the Humanity First movement on each social media platform. we decided to do this because platforms are sticky. A lot of people don't like switching platforms, so we got to go to where the people really are. And so our affiliates will be our official spaces where we can push out news, we can have discussion with other people about the Humanity First movement, where we need to go. We can distribute information about meetings and everything. All decision making will be done within the Slack workspace or whatever platform we move to eventually. But otherwise, we're going to have a bunch of different affiliates that are going to act as news outlets. And so there's going to be a constellation of Humanity First movement accounts, basically. We already have a Twitter going on. We have some irons in the fire with setting up an official Discord as our affiliate, and the conversation is continuing about how we want to structure that. So come and join us next Saturday to make your voice heard about that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brendan. On to working group tech. Tech.
Let's go, Yenny. Come on, let's go.
Oh, I can do that. So basically, there's a G Suite that we've implemented, and what that means is that'll be like the hosting for the national website and for emails and possibly for state websites where we're all in one architecture together. So that's being developed. And we're looking at a CRM. So basically the database of all of the Humanity First movement members. And we've cleaned up an input, the input for the spec, and we're going through like an iterative 2-week process to pick this. And what that means is we'll start having like a centralized area where we can kind of put in all of our kind of the membership information that we collect, and people will have admin rights at their state level to be able to use this for their mailing lists, event invites, all of that stuff. And we can, look at analytics and data to see how we're growing. So then there's a team that's working on the implementation of our first National Humanity Forward website. And if you would like to join in any of these efforts, please add yourself to the #3 Tech Slack channel in the national Slack. And our weekly meetings are Saturdays, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please come on in and join us.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Catherine. All right, on to candidate support group.
Hi, I'm Rachel Davies from the Atlanta Gang. A couple of us met yesterday for the candidate support working group. The Slack channel had been inactive for a couple of weeks, and from what I understand, the working group has been inactive as well. The Distributed Forward, Drew from Distributed Forward met with us. We realized that Distributed Forward has been taking on the bulk of the candidate support work at this point. And so with that, we recommend for the time being delegating candidate support activities to Distributed Forward, updating the Slack channel to reflect that, and redirecting interested volunteers and candidates to Distributed Forward. But recognizing that Distributed Forward is an independent organization, we just want to keep that Slack channel open because we don't know what will happen in the future. But also keep it live to announce further volunteer opportunities. So with that, I wanted to turn it over to Drew to talk a little bit about Distributed Forward.
Hey, everybody. I think I've talked about Distributed Forward a little bit in the past. I'll give once more with vigor. So Distributed Forward kind of grew out of the end of the Yang campaign, realizing that traditional campaigning is a thing of the past at this point, and realizing that we needed to harness new and exciting ways to do direct voter contact work, particularly for pro-UBI candidates up and down the ballot. So that's where that came from. Currently, we are supporting a little more than half a dozen pro UBI candidates across the country: Oregon, California, New York. It's pretty sweet. So if you do want to get involved, this is a little out of order. You can go to the website, distributedforward.com/join Slack, join-Slack, and that will get you into our Slack. I'm going to do my best to continue to cross post between the Humanity Forward Slack and the Distributed Forward Slack, because that's not going to get confusing or anything. I'm going to continue to post between the two, so you'll have an idea of what's going on and the help that we need. In particular, right now, so we have some candidates that are kind of in crunch time right now. The most urgent need that we have, if we're going to support a pro UBI candidate, is to call for Heidi Briones in Oregon. Oregon is a vote by mail state, and people have their ballots in their hand, ready to go right now, and some of them have already sent them in. So like we're actively losing votes if we're not calling voters in Oregon. So we need all the help we can get. It's a blue state, super easy calls. People are really chill. A lot of them don't even know what candidates are running. And if you just talk to them about Heidi, you're going to win some votes. So it's super easy. You should absolutely do it. It's a lot of fun. We're also going to be doing some calling for David Kim. Jermaine Johnson has an interesting texting campaign. We're going to talk about absentee voting there. And we just took on Badrun Khan, who's a candidate in New York. And we are going to be texting for them as well. So that's it. Happy to see you over there and also here.
Awesome. Thank you both so much.
Oh, and I'm sorry, Michael, I'm sorry, real quick. Michael asked, what about Mike Breuer? They are still working over there. A lot of the volunteer support there actually comes directly from his Slack channel. But they are doing texts right now. Sorry.
Awesome.
Sorry.
Thank you. Alrighty, who is speaking for the board tonight?
I was kind of hoping Brendan, I put the slide together, but I was kind of hoping Brendan would take it.
Ha, okay, I can do it. Though this first item right here is pretty tough to announce, but Peter Chun has wanted us to make it public that he is resigning from the interim board, which isn't something obviously that we wanted to happen, and we're so thankful for all of that Peter has done for the movement, for this organization. Let me just remind everyone that it was because of Peter and his team that we got meetings started up again after the Andrew Yang campaign suspended, and we got meetings with Zach and Ethan because of him. And he's going to be focusing more on his local organizing and volunteer opportunities, like being a humanity hang host. And we're so thankful for everything that he's done, and he's still part of the team. Obviously, this opens up some room for some other people to run for the board and to serve in different ways. So thank you so much, Peter. And yeah, we did have a meeting with Andrew Yang earlier in the week on Monday. So that video is now available. You got the link right here if you guys want to check it out. It's great to see how Andrew is totally on the same page as the rest of us, and we're all working in sync. It seems like every week we're getting better and better coordinated with what we really need to do to accomplish our objectives. So that's awesome. Definitely tune into that. We got the upcoming elections on May 17th. Already talked about that. For the board, Yenny is up for re-election. I myself, I'm going to be standing down to serve more in a local capacity for Arizona. And Brenna is doing the same. Hugh is still going to make up his mind. So we'd love to have him as a board member if he's willing to continue, and if he gets the votes, right? And we're going to be continuing to set organizational priorities and really nail down what the most urgent tasks are to become more and more efficient over time. So look forward to all of that. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Thanks, Brendan. So don't read this too hard right now. This is for you to check back in on if you heard anything you were interested in joining. This is a list of all of the different meetings for the different working groups throughout the week. But it is a lot. So if you're like, oh man, I really enjoyed insert presentation here, find that working group and join their meeting, or at least their Slack channel. So to talk a little bit about current volunteer opportunities, again, there's a lot of information in here, but there's a few things that we were recruiting for actively. So we started Humanity Hangs, which is just a modified version of the Yang Gang Hang. That was really a decision of Andrew Yang to start doing again. If you are interested in hosting one of our breakout rooms, there is a form to fill out there. We are also actively recruiting for COVID relief callers, which we'll talk about in just a second. And then we need some more members to be active in a couple different groups. So the tech group, our comms group, the legal private channel. So if you are a lawyer or know a lot about law, there's a private channel for support there. Branding is also a private channel as well. Those are all of our internal ones. Externally, we've got a couple different groups. Sorry, I'm reading the chat. I got distracted. So Income Movement is doing a lot of work lobbying Congress about our COVID response and lobbying for emergency UBI. Distributed Forward, Drew just spoke about, but we are looking for volunteers to call, text, make some different fun, exciting things to share on the internet. There's tons of opportunities. If you're passionate about something, there's probably a volunteer opportunity for you there. And then Young Americans Coalition for Unity has some volunteer opportunities as well. Go to yacu.org. That is headed up by Andrew Wan, who was previously the Yang 2020 youth director. So now I'm going to talk about phone banking. So right now we're doing a really fun phone banking program that is not your usual phone banking. You get to call people and we get to give them money. So over 50,000 people have applied for the Humanity Forward COVID Relief Fund. We are giving out microgrants of $250 to everybody basically that we speak to on the phone. The goal is to get money in every single person's hand that has applied. We were just fortunate to get a very large donation from a person, and we currently do not have enough callers to give out that money efficiently. We've trained 36 callers as of this morning, so we really need your help to help us grow. I'm going to drop this link here in the channel, but we are asking that everybody on this call share this link with 3 people. If we all share this with 3 people, they don't have to be Yang Gang. It could be anybody who wants to help us grow, who wants to make phone calls to give people $250. It's a really fun way to connect on a very personal level. It is really enjoyable. It like brings your day like sunshine and rainbows. Please join us and share that link. Again, you do not have to be Yang Gang. This is not a political call. We are literally just giving people money. There are Thanks, Tom. There are currently 3 trainings set up for this week. Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, Friday and Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern. If you have at least 3 people who want to be trained, let me know. I will run a training for you all. We want to get you going. I am happy to host more trainings. These are just what I put on the schedule already this week. So please join us, call people, and give away $250. Thank you. COVID relief. What a great transition here. Who's going to talk about emergency UBI advocacy?
I would love it if Stacy would give this part, and then we can also, in addition to the spotlight part, if you're open to it, Stacy.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, Annie. Hi, everyone. I'm Stacy Rutland, co-founder of Income Movement, and I see a lot of familiar names and faces on here. So right now, what's happening with COVID, the COVID-19 response, we've really in the last couple of weeks focused pretty deeply into trying to influence and affect what's happening right now with the next phase of stimulus that's being negotiated within Congress. So, about a week and a half ago, we heard that as Congress shifted from the next update to the small business funding, that they were shifting into the next part of the stimulus for how to support people, and that ongoing regular payments to people was not on the table. And so we very quickly kind of pulled together a lot of leadership across a variety of different basic income organizations, Humanity Forward, as well as US Big, and we've been working directly with Economic Security Project on a war room project that they have, where they're pulling together leaders from a wide variety of social justice organizations and kind of lobbying and legislative organizations, specifically on working towards getting making sure ongoing payments is part of the next stimulus. So there's what we basically did out of our sorry, my dog is freaking out because people are coming in and out of my house. So what we basically did out of that kind of intensive couple of days or a couple of hours of figuring out what to do for the next 2 to 3 weeks was we pulled together a set of actions that citizens can take to influence and affect Congress. So letter writing campaigns, phone call campaigns, as well as how to get things trending on Twitter and social media to just really be attacking Congress from all angles. We pulled together the link here, bailoutthepeople.com, is a single website that is getting updated regularly with the kinds of actions that people can engage in to apply pressure. And so as we kind of continue to move forward, we have a daily stand-up Monday through Thursday where we're basically just talking about the current state of the legislation, so we understand what's going on and can understand if we need to pivot accordingly, so that we're really kind of working in a coordinated effort with lobbyists on the Hill who are having backdoor conversations with Congress people. We want to make sure that what the public is saying and the pressure that they're putting on Congress is kind of the same language and the same ideas as what's happening behind closed doors. So that's a good kind of summary of where we're at for the next 2 weeks. We're really focusing almost exclusively on Congress. Historically, before this kind of key moment, part of the COVID-19 kind of citizen action included a variety of other actions, but those we've kind of put on the back burner. Things like letter to the editor, writing campaigns. We were doing some phone banking for a while and just reaching out to the community to see how everyone was doing, and kind of sharing resources and some of the mutual aid, the great resources that mutual aid's been pulling together from different communities. But those we've, like I said, kind of put on the back burner a little bit so that we can be all hands on deck for the congressional side of things.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Stacy. We had our coalition spotlight next is income movement. Is there anything else you want to add about income movement?
So we work on, we really are working on what we consider kind of the 3 pillars of building a movement for basic income. So we have the grassroots side of things, and then we also, and obviously right now that's the kind of things that we were just talking about with Congress. We also work on the political side. So we endorse candidates, UBI candidates. We also help work with the people who are writing legislation. Like we were talking about, Economic Security Project is the organization that actually wrote the helped write the legislation, emergency money for the people, that Representative Khanna and Representative Ryan and now many, many others are supporting and endorsing. And so we've been having conversations with those representatives as well as ESP as they've been having the kind of going through the iterative process and improving that legislation over time. And then we also work on the thought leadership side, and a lot of that is really around building alliances both within the basic income community as well as other social justice organizations. So organizations like Poor People's Campaign, Justice Collaborative, Black Lives Matter. We really focus a lot on organizations who have already been doing so much important work in the economic justice space and making sure that we're having real opportunities for conversations to bring them, really kind of bring them to the table and understand what it is that they're working on, how the basic income community can support them, and those kinds of things. So right now we're focused very heavy on this kind of grassroots congressional side, but we have an annual thought leadership retreat that we had in March that leaders from a lot of different organizations as well as leaders within different Yang Gang communities were able to participate. And so we hosted in last October the Basic Income March, organized and hosted that, and we're in the process of starting to work towards the next one in September. We're working with the international basic income community related to that. The Basic Income March last year was in 30 cities across the globe. We had cities on every continent involved and participating. And this year, the international community wants to have 100 cities participate. That's their kind of goal within Europe and Asia in particular. So we have a lot of fires or kind of irons in the fire, but right now really trying to focus on Congress. I think I'm sure you all are having these conversations as well. What's happening right now in Congress is something that I think none of us could have anticipated if we'd had been talking in February about the idea that that so many different people in Congress would be talking about guaranteed income and talking about UBI as a legitimate solution to kind of significant economic problems. I think we all recognize that this is a key moment to move the balls forward and really to move the ball significantly forward for UBI. And so we're really trying to focus all of our energy, or as much of our energy as possible, on that very specific thing, because we hope that not only is there a basic income passed for kind of a temporary one, but we also hope that this is the beginning of UBI being in the dominant political discourse all the way through 2020, and then we can carry that into 2022.
Awesome. Thank you again so much for joining us tonight, Stacey, and thanks for sharing a little bit more about income movement. Y'all are doing some amazing work, so we really appreciate you.
No problem. Thanks, you guys.
Awesome. So we are heading next to Blair. Blair, do we still have you or did we lose you?
Hey everyone, I love meeting with this group. This is the most lively and enthusiastic group. I love you all so much. So I think I only have like 5 minutes, right?
Yes, ma'am. 5 minutes.
Okay, so I'm gonna speak fast for you guys, okay? So first I just want to give a quick little thank you to Drew because he helped out with the texting platform management, and I super appreciate that, and we will definitely get in touch about calling. And Stacey, I want to give you a shout out too because you're just doing some phenomenal hard work and out there really just grinding for UBI and making a change in the world. And I am enthusiastically but patiently waiting to hear back on that endorsement. I love you guys so much. And news on my campaign, I just got the Black Coffee Justice endorsement, Humanity First Party endorsement. I have several in the works on the way. And my last fundraiser went really well. If you guys don't know, we were able to raise $6,000. We're out here feeding families, no means testing. Anybody who asks us for help, we go and buy them groceries, bring it to them. And we've also helped in little spots with some minor bills and just you know, everybody's challenges are different, and that's probably why we're all here and why we all love UBI so much, you know. And I've really come up with this title. I like just saying, like, a UBI warrior, UBI champions, and I'd say all of you are. And I really just hope that you stay inspired and keep doing all of this hard work. And if anybody wants to come help do the hard work, you can go to blairforcongress.com/volunteer. I am definitely looking for more people to come help out, from call banking. I have a fundraiser about to go on right now. I've got to feed the campaign, not just the people, as tough as that is. But I would love to have all of you on board. And I'm trying to check. It looks like you guys have some questions real quick. I am running against quite a large group of people. The Republican side has 16 challengers, and I have 2 Democrats on this side, but I am definitely the favored candidate for the Democrats. The incumbent is stepping down, so it's actually a pretty open slot, and that's why there's so many people running. It's going to be interesting. We have a debate coming up actually on the 7th. If anybody wants to watch, we can drop a link in here. And yeah, I would just encourage you guys all, you know, it's easy to talk to you guys about UBI because we all already love it. We know how it saves lives and how it's going to help people. So again, I just want to keep you guys motivated and encouraged. Does anybody have any specific questions other than what I've already addressed?
Was the incumbent a Republican or Democrat, Blair?
Republican. We've been in a Republican state for close to 200 years. However, we have done a lot of research lately, and the Democratic Party just sent us a survey, and it is very exciting time to be running because it is likely to actually be a Democrat due to some local issues. And I have a Republicans for Blair team that is actually kind of insane, and I try to be as nonpartisan as possible. And it's been very heartwarming to just actually see people drop a lot of the party lines rhetoric. So it's encouraging.
Awesome. Any other questions for Blair?
Yeah. Where do you get the information about, like, is there polling? Like, how do you know that you're the favorite of the Democrats? I'm not questioning it. How do you know?
Yeah, there is polling, and just from general voter outreach, I have met some even supporters for some of the other candidates, and after I talk to them, they turn around and hand me their button or pen, and they end up joining my team to volunteer. So that's a really good sign to me, just on, you know, a general level of outreach. But as far as polling goes, and the TNDP, which are local Democratic Party chairs, they've done some local polls, and some of the groups are not allowed to endorse a candidate until after the primary publicly, but that doesn't they still are somewhat open about who they're supporting. That's really, I couldn't give you more details than that without throwing somebody else under the bus.
Oh, sure. Okay, thank you.
It looks like somebody asked if we have a Slack. I think Slack is the only thing we don't have. We have Discord, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, basically everything but Slack. But if you just go to the link up on the screen, the blairforcongress.com/volunteer, it'll give you a form to fill out, and then we'll get you connected. We'll plug you in wherever you want to be.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Blair, for joining us. It's great to hear from you. That takes us to our open questions and comments. In the interest of time, we are looking to end this meeting after an hour of being active. We have about 9 minutes left, so we'll go ahead and take some hands. To raise your hand, please go to the participants button, and there's a raise hands function. It looks like Andrew has his hand up.
We just have one quick qualification on the candidate stuff.
Yeah.
Those forms and things are currently still being feedbacked and worked through. They are not 100% yet. We've got a couple edits that need to happen.
Yeah, that's for the May 17th election.
Yep.
Awesome.
Just give us a couple hours. We'll be done.
Awesome. Thank y'all. Okay, Andrew, and then Glenn. Andrew, did you not have a question? Oh, your hand's lowered. Sorry. Glenn, it's so nice to see you. Go ahead.
Hey, Brenna. Just a quick question about the COVID relief fund. My brother and his wife got sick with COVID-19, lost, all of their income. I would love to help them out in any way that I can. How do people go about applying for that, or are applications still open at all?
So applications are still open. It's on the Humanity Forward website. I'll find the link and I'll add it to the chat for you. I'm super sorry to hear that. Like, that's really, really unfortunate. I'm sorry that your family is going through that. I hope y'all
They're
improve.
recovering. They're recovering well. My brother's going to have like permanent damage to his lungs, but they came out the other end of it mostly okay.
Okay, my heart goes out to you. I hope that everything's doing all right. And it's really good to see you. We've
Thank
missed
you. Good to see you too. It's my first time back in a while.
All right, I'll get that and drop it in the chat for you, Glenn.
Thank you very
Faye, it
much.
looks like you are up next.
Hi. Yeah, I wanted to let everybody know that we have up TP, Fred Ramey's organization, which used to be Truckers for Gang Pack. And so they're now something called TP Brigade. It's at short link. I'm going to put in the chat in a minute. Okay. I'm also still wondering, how are we getting the word out meetings? Because like literally one at a time, like messaging groups, and I'm too slow at it.
So we are Hugh. Hugh, are you on the call? Do you want to talk about plans to live stream?
So he is not on here, but we are currently live streaming on the Humanity for Yang YouTube account. And we'll be announcing that better in the future.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we're just getting better and better. I mean, we just got our name not that long ago. We're creating a website, and we're getting on social media. Our internal and external comms groups is getting together. So we're just gonna get better and better at spreading the word. And we need all of your help too. So we appreciate you spreading the link and spreading the information. But we're just we're working on it.
For sure. Yeah, and if I could just add, if anyone wants to help out with those processes, that's what the communications working group is for. We meet on Saturdays, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, and we're going to be recruiting teams that their whole job is to get the news out to as many groups as possible, as many outlets, and post meeting times and all of that. So come and join us.
Awesome. Thank you. Robert, your hand is next. That's the only other hand that is up. If anybody wants to put their hand up, please do.
Hey, so I was wondering about this COVID relief fund, the 250, can that also go to, let's say, an organization in Philadelphia? There's Temple University. They've come together and they've used basically their 3D printers. It's TUCAT that they've kind of organized and named themselves that. Like some of the people that run the labs and stuff in the physics department, engineering and such. So I think they may need some more funds for, let's say, they have to refill the 3D printers and such. I know 250 probably doesn't go that long, but I mean, this organization is legit. They've been in the local news. So I don't know if you guys know, Temple University, it's traditionally in a not so great area of the city. I mean, most people know like University of Pennsylvania, that's our Ivy League, but Temple is one of the, so basically it helps a hospital to build face shields and such. So I don't know if that's an approved use of the funds, but.
So as of right now, this COVID relief fund that's through Move Humanity Forward is for individual people. I don't, like, you can always email them. The email response team will forward things on to the other members of the actual staff. The staff is still like 5 to 7 people. But this particular fund is just to put money in the hands of people to be able to pay their bills.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, analogous to, UBI. So makes a lot of sense.
Awesome. Any other hands?
My hand's up.
Oh, go ahead, Colleen.
Okay, just in the interest of time, I just want to ask Stacy, Drew, Yenny, and Brandon, would you just look out for, I'm going to send you a direct message over Slack with my questions. Yeah, okay.
Sure.
Yeah, totally.
Awesome. Any other questions before we go?
Yeah, quick question. I was going to ask, not that I've received anything yet, but I'm saying like if people have received money from Humanity Forward, because I know a few people, can they also be callers, or is it a conflict of interest?
They can absolutely join us with calling. So tinyurl/.com. I'm going to type I'm really bad at typing this. It's in the it's in the slide presentation. But yes, we have had a couple people who after having these phone calls have asked if they can start volunteering as well. So we will love to have them help if they would like to.
Awesome, I'll share that.
It's
Thank you.
tinyurl.com/relief caller or / you know the one.
Thank you. Thanks, Catherine. It's posted in the chat now. And Nikki, your hand is up.
Sorry. 2 questions. How soon should I wait to get an email about like the when I work for the moderator calls and the hang calls and the relief calls?
So I sent you one yesterday for the phone banking. If you haven't gotten it yet, I can resend that for you. But you should have gotten one yesterday from me. Or was that Saturday? Yeah, it was Saturday.
I don't think I got it.
Okay. I can resend it for you.
Okay. And
yeah. And
that was
specifically, Nikki, I tried to get an email to you as well. So maybe there's an issue with your email address or something.
Here, let me type it in. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, send it to them on Slack, not in the chat.
Not in the chat?
It will be public to everyone.
I'm not afraid of anything.
We would still recommend against that.
Okay, who do I need to send it to? Brendan and
Brenna.
Okay, that'll be easy to remember.
We basically have the same name.
Right.
All right, Faye, your hands up again.
Wait, is it still up?
Oh no, Faye's is.
My hand is up again. I know that Boyce just joined us. I don't know if Boyce is here. Maybe he would tell us a little bit about what he's doing too right now. He's starting something called Trickle Up. Are you here, Boyce? Or paying attention?
I saw him a little while ago. I think I saw him leave, though. I didn't know if he rejoined.
I don't think he has a mic established.
But yeah, I am curious about the Trickle Up. It looks cool.
Maybe Boyce can be a featured coalition spotlight in the future.
Well,
Cool.
he is it's kind of a coalition because it's not a program of its own, I don't think. Aggregates different content creators. And so everybody who is a content creator should be able to join it. And I think they're being, just out with people. So I'm going to try to get him in here to talk about that. It's called The Trickle Up, and I'm going to go ahead and post that link. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Faye. And then out of the interest of time, it is now 1 hour into the meeting. Burke has his hand up. So Burke, go ahead and take us home, and then we'll close out comment after Burke.
Alrighty, no problem. Actually, I just wanted to say hi to everybody. I wanted to give a small little update of what I'm doing in my campaign, and ask for everybody's kind of that put me in their thoughts for the next couple of weeks. As I mentioned before, my district, the numbers are pretty low. And out of the last 3 primaries altogether, it's about 4,000 people that voted in the primary. I've gotten a hold of the voter list and the phone numbers, and I personally, most people would say I'd want to help phone banking, but I actually don't. I plan on personally calling all 4,000 of those numbers myself at about 200 a day for about 20 days, and try to get my name recognition out there. So if you see a little bit less of me on social media and all that, that's why, because I'm on the phone.
Awesome. Thanks, Burke. And hey, I was wondering if I could close off with a question. I actually had one. I couldn't raise my hand.
I will allow it, Brendan.
All right. Thanks, Brenna. And it is directed to the candidates. I don't know if Burke's the only one who's still here, but just looking at the future, you know, if one of our UBI candidates is elected this cycle, then you will officially, they'll officially have more political experience than Andrew Yang. And in some ways might be seen as a new leader for the movement. And so I'm just curious if there are any plans from our UBI candidates. How would you lead the movement? What would change? What do you have? What could you bring to the table to lead the movement? And I'm just interested in your thoughts.
Well, I'll jump in real quick just to state that my candidacy is on a state level. I know pretty much everybody else that's running for UBI is on a national level. So my whole program on how my UBI would work and all that, which I won't go into right now. And if you want to, it's on my website, burkefornevada.com. But so mine's a little different, but I would love to hear if Blair's here, what she has to say.
Blair, if you're speaking, you're
Blair.
muted.
Hey, yeah, I'm here. So I have my 2.5-year-old on my lap crying, so I was trying to not expose you guys to that coming off of mute. Yeah, no, I think that's a great question, an interesting perspective that I hadn't even thought of about how Andrew Yang hasn't even had a chance to do this politically yet. So, and we know it's going to happen. We have a few candidates who have more than a few. We have a large amount of candidates who are doing really well and looking to win these elections. So it'll be fantastic to see these UBI warriors really push through. I think that the biggest step is really just to get it implemented, right? That is it. We already kind of know how we're going to pay for it if we're going off of Yang's plan, which I know some candidates have modified it. But I think that the best way to do it is with the VAT and how Yang had it already laid out and planned out. And Scott Stanton's has, been championing it loudly and successfully. It's been phenomenal. So I don't know that we're going to even have to do that by then. I honestly think that UBI is coming. We're talking about it, looking at, we're seeing different proposals every day. So I'm actually hoping that there'll be some people in there and that they don't mess it up before we get a good group of us who actually understand it better and can relate to people's needs in regards to getting